my name is Jan, and we're going to start a little bit by introduction about myself. I am a local real estate agent here in Austin, Texas, a broker associate with Keller Williams Realty, and I am also a certified NLP practitioner. I love NLP, so I am recording our sessions. In the hopes that it will help somebody, the process of change. You want to do this real quick?
Yeah, sure po.
Okay. So, Virginia Satir is one of the models of NLP. So she was I believe she's a psychologist that is a family therapist that was very successful in everything that she did. She was high level. They studied her when when they founded the NLP. So pretty much she would talk to the family and figure out, what's going on with them, and that way they can move to a better place in the family if there's chaos. So she realized that, there's when people change, when we want change in our lives, we go through a process, and she identified it. In the beginning, she did not know what they mean. And then eventually she was able to figure out, okay, every time I go like have a session with family members, this is what happens. And so she just laid it all out like this. So the current status quo is what you are right now, right? So we as people, we like to be living in familiar. So we like, we wake up, we do our own thing. It's very familiar to us. We're very comfortable. Uh, Sometimes some people may have a hard time changing. Sometimes we want to change either because there's a threat that's coming into our life, or it's not going to be good for our survival. The threat would be, for example, I'm going to work. If I don't, then I'm not going to make money. Then I'm not going to have a home to live, or I'm not going to be able to eat. So that's the threat. I want to lose weight because if I don't lose weight, I'm not going to be healthy. Therefore, I don't have the money to pay for medicine. So most of us want to change because somehow there's a threat in our well-being, right? Or sometimes you just got tired of like being mediocre, that you want to level up your skill or level up your knowledge. So something that you're not happy with your current situation. So when you decide to change, so a change is a choice. You either decide to change or not to change. There's no in between. It's you either change or you don't. And when you decide to change, it takes courage, right? So it takes courage for you to make the first move because, like I said, we're so used to be the familiar. Uh, when we want to change, like I said, we either think something was wrong, or something could be better, or you want something different. You like a rubber band, right? If you pull a rubber band, it always goes back to where it was. That's kind of like us in between the current status quo to when you decide to change. uh, and then so there's always going to be like an introduction of another foreign element. It's either going to be like somebody that tells you that, hey, if you don't do better in work, I'm going to fire you. Or if you don't lose the weight, then the doctor said you're not gonna live a long time. So that's the foreign element, is like the doctor that introduces you to something different or something better or something wrong. And then when we get into change, she noticed that resistance comes. Like no matter what, there's always going to be a resistance. Just because, like a rubber band, it resists. Uh, but then there's a desire for us to change. Like we want to change. At the same time, we are scared of the unknown because remember, we operate by familiarity, what familiar to us. So we risk the unknown. If I change, if I lose weight subconsciously, you don't necessarily know what's going to, how that means for you. And then there's also chaos. And then it's gonna have a chaos because you're gonna be pulled. So this limbo right here, you're gonna be pulled from the old you and then the new you, right? So when you're in limbo like this, it's kind of like, I want to go here, but then you're like, oh man, I want to lose weight. I don't want to like eat ice cream, but then the ice cream comes, so you're like in limbo. And then our self will also, body wise, will also have symptoms of uncomfortable. You will even have headache. You may even have like depression. You couldn't sleep, you're anxious, you seem like you don't know yourself at that moment because you're in limbo, and then you might be scared, or you have like other expectation, catastrophic expectation, right? So like when you're in limbo like that, just know that when you're trying to change, that could happen. I'll give you an example. One time, when I was working into cold calling, and I was sitting there and I wanted to call strangers, right? I'm Filipino, I have an accent, so I had so many insecurities, right? But I know that cold calling will help me and my family get better. Literally, like I observed myself getting like wanting to go to the bathroom for no reason at all. So I go to the bathroom, I go back into my computer, I sit down, okay, this is it. I'm going to call. And then all of a sudden my mind will be like, oh no, somebody texted you, you need to respond to them. I'm like, oh my God, and then if you give in to that, then there's no change, right? But if you're like, okay, somebody needs me to text them back, but I'm gonna make the call right now. So whenever you want to change, the motto that me and Paul, my husband, have is that when you're uncomfortable, that's the more reason you need to do it. This happens when I was I'm just gonna give me an example, if that's okay. When I wanted to have a better life, when I was on a treadmill with Orange Theory, and on the treadmill, I want to run, but then my mind is telling me, stop, you can't do it. So you have to make a decision to talk to yourself. I had to talk to myself. No, no, I can do it. I can do it. One more mile, 3 more miles. So, you just need to keep going and knowing, and you're aware that this is happening to yourself, then you can make a decision to leap a little bit more forward. Um, and then so her suggestion is like to breathe, to relax, to remind yourself of why you want to change. Also, sometimes you might need to speak it, like, okay, I'm very uncomfortable right now because, you know, this is my old self who's used to this, but, I can, or like you speak to yourself. And then you also like have love for yourself, right? So from then, when you realize it, then you're hopeful and you have faith that something will happen, something good that you're about to change. And then you that's what you when you actually do it, then that's called practice. So back to my cold calling example, every time I cold call, that will then now be me practicing the cold calling. So every time I get to call, eventually it's no big deal anymore. And now we are in the new possibility. Cold calling is now familiar to me, so I can be on the phone right now and talk to strangers, no problem. I don't have any anxiety. I don't have anything in my mind. It's just somebody. I just need to talk to them. If they say no, so what? So that's how you do the process of change. And I think this was when I found this one. This is the only YouTube video that she has that was like 30 minutes. When I found this one, everything made sense. And I've always wondered why people are not able to make the change, for the better. Any comments, suggestions, or anything?
None po so far. Everything is clear and well discussed.
Cool.
Same, same here.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Okay po. Have a good day.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
day. Bye.
Bye.
How do we stop the recording?